Welcome to Team Fortress 2. We have two types of players. Meet the tryhard. Tryhards are players that treat TF2 like a sport. Everything they do is about maximizing their performance. They value their skill in the game, they get satisfaction out of being challenged, and they like a match where everyone is trying their best to win. Now meet the friendly. Friendlies are players who see TF2 as a way to hang out with people. They like goofing off, they like having silly interactions with other players, and they generally don't play the game exactly the way it was developed. See, Team Fortress 2 is a very communication-based game. You're very encouraged to talk to other people. And the fact that this half of the player base exists sort of emphasizes one of the main reasons why people like this game so much. There are a lot of games out there that have revolutionary and unique gameplay, and there are a lot of games that encourage hanging out and goofing off, but there are very few that do both. You could be rocket jumping yourself across the map in 10 seconds, or you could also form a band and play completely out of tune and annoy everybody on the server. But to boil it down, we have tryhards and we have friendlies. Two types of players that exist because there are two reasons people play this game. One is for the gameplay, and the other is for the social interaction. But if I were going to put it into terms for someone who is not obsessed with this game and its lingo, there's a divide between the competitive players and the non-players. I didn't quite know what else to call them. Both of these types of players are equal parts of this game, and they hate each other. On one hand, you have the tryhards who want everyone to play the objective as aggressively as possible and get 3 dominations in a row, and then flexing on their YouTube channel that they got 3 dominations in a row, while also hoping people don't notice what kind of server. And on the flip side, the friendlies just don't want anyone to beam them in the face when they're only trying to taunt and have a good time.
Good eye.
Yes, I'm looking at you, Sniper. Oh, you're on Harvest and you just killed a taunting medic. Oh, you must feel so good about yourself. Yeah, it's a bit much. Okay, my point is these two types of players, they just can't coexist with each other, okay? They just can't. And if there's this divide between players, who do you design your game for? Well, someone's gotta get to the bottom of this. And at the end of the day, since we're the ones that are already wearing the lab coats, it might as well be us. Is TF2 becoming too competitive? Betteridge's Law says the answer is no, but there's gotta be more to this, there's gotta be. So we're gonna need to get some science junk. Science junk in the form of ArraySeven's patented, always correct, never wrong scale of tryhardness to friendlyism. Copyright 2021, do not steal, especially you, Jurgis. So if we take the friendlies and we take the tryhards and put them on opposite ends of each other, we get a scale. The more you like to play competitively, the more on this side you are, and the more you like to hang out and goof around, the more on this side you are. So starting from the middle, the farther you go this way, you get the people who just want to half shoot and half dork around. You find a lot of them on 24/7, 2-fort, or high tower servers. They're still playing TF2, they just want something way more relaxed and laid back. In a lot of cases, they ignore the flag and the objective completely, or in other cases, the objective is totally deleted. Past that is the people who like Freak Fortress, Randomizer, ×10, Prop Hunt, that sort of thing. They're still technically playing TF2, but the TF2 they're playing is so heavily modded that they might as well not be playing it at all. And at the far corners, you get people on trade or idle servers who basically treat TF2 like a chat room. So now if we go in the opposite direction, you find people who are much more dedicated to TF2's gameplay. This is where you find the Uncletopians, named after the community of our very own NG friend. These are most of the older TF2 fans and content creators. They generally have a higher skill and for the most part play to win on servers, but there's really not a lot of messing around. That's the most important part. After that come the people who are pretty serious about this game, a couple of competitive players, you get things like Balance Mod that's trying to push the envelope as far as TF2's gameplay goes, and TF2 Maps who's trying to expand on what you can play and how you can play in this game. And then on this far end over here, you have the tryhards, or more specifically, the ultra-competitive players. They're min-maxers or power gamers, and they always play at full throttle, or at least the minimum amount of throttle it takes for them to beat everybody. To figure out where you fit, think about where you have the most fun in the game. Do you like having an intense match, or do you like it better when something funny happens? Do you like it more silly and fun, or do you like it better as a competitive experience? And bear in mind too, there's nothing wrong with being either one. I'd just like to point that out. For some of you who might be confused on which side you sit on, a good point of reference is random crits. If you care about random crits being off, then you're probably on this side. But if you don't really care, or you prefer them on, you're definitely on this side over here. Now, where you are on the scale varies from day to day, obviously, but think about on average about how you typically like TF2. And write in the comments where you think you're fit. I'd love to see what you guys think. But chances are it follows a bell curve, meaning most of you will fit somewhere around here. I feel like this group is a pretty good representation of your typical player, and these people usually have a pretty fun time playing with each other. But then we get into the weeds on the far ends of the spectrum here. The tryhards and the friendlies, these two play an almost completely different game from each other and wants different things. One side wants TF2 to be more like Gary's mod, and the other side wants TF2 to be more like Counter-Strike. And this puts Team Fortress 2 in a very weird place. In most shooters today, there really isn't that big a difference between the casual and competitive player base. The scale for them looks like this because most of the time, casual is just training for competitive anyway. They've got the same team numbers, same game modes, the only real difference is how seriously everyone takes it. But casual down here in the Badlands? Yeehaw! Come on down! 12v12 auto balance random crate clusterfuck everybody! Come on! You got 4 spies? Well, good luck, buddy! I'm gonna put a sentry on last! Competitive TF2 is nothing like this! Valve and the competitive scene have been trying to bridge this gap much more in recent years. In fact, it's why a lot of weapons are balanced for the players on this side of the scale. The other reason is because it actually matters to them. There's no friendly out there who's upset that the base jumper lets you spin in circles at 40 miles an hour. There's no friendly who's upset that the Sandman makes you stun from a distance, okay? It actually matters to them. Let's balance weapons for the people who actually make a difference with it. But balancing for competitive players, this side doesn't like that. The friendlies and the silly players have an intense fear of TF2 becoming too competitive. In fact, every time a weapon gets rebalanced to something less broken, they rip off all their clothes and run down the street screaming, "The end is nigh!" But not to worry, the bottom line is TF2 is not becoming too competitive. It's just becoming more competitive. And for many players, I'm sure that any amount of competition is probably too much. Competitive Team Fortress 2 sounds really intimidating, and I don't really blame anybody for feeling that. Although, here's something that you should know. Shifting TF2 farther to the try-hard side of the scale means very simple and almost necessary changes that are mostly just quality of life improvements. For example, removing random crits and random bullet spread, having more manageable server sizes close to what competitive is actually like, better map pools, server scrambles, a lot of these sort of things would make TF2 much more playable.
But Array, I, a unique and beautiful human being, like casual TF2 because I don't get crushed by people better than me.
Boy, I feel that. But imagine that even after a few days of practicing your sticky placement or headshots, that suddenly one day you absolutely smoke the other team. You're on fire, it's kill after kill after kill, you are unstoppable. And for a brief moment, as you check the leaderboard, the sweat dripping from your brow, and you see your name at the top, and you get a little bit of rush of the good chemicals to your brain, it just makes you want to do it all over again. The more you practice, the more that happens, the more you can pull off sick air shots and brutal meat shots, and the better you get. It's all part of having a skill. You don't have to be afraid of practicing and getting better. There's nothing wrong with trying to be a better player, and I'd recommend you try it. Who knows, you might feel better about yourself after some more practice, and then you'll be able to crush your friends completely. And I can guarantee that a lot of you would either severely appreciate or at least not even notice that these changes were made. But if we're looking at Team Fortress 2 as a game, we need to face the sound of progress. With no new updates being released, with lacking developer support, and with an abundance of robots polluting servers, competitive Team Fortress 2 is the only way this game can stay alive. And people don't seem to like that. But in my opinion, as well as many others, the only way we can keep this game relevant to a modern audience is by improving the gameplay that has set TF2 apart for so many years. But here's the thing about that. Some of my favorite memories of this game were not made when everyone was trying to win, I'll put it that way. It was on laid-back servers hanging out with a bunch of strangers. In fact, just as a refresher, I joined one of those 24/7 2-4 servers and I walk in and what do I find? A whole bunch of people chatting, some dude is blasting Green Day through his microphone, people are giving me high fives. It was a good time and I got to hang out with some pretty funny people. Because do you know what this feels like to me?
I barely do anything to anybody. I just kind of like shoot at them and hope I hit.
Isn't that the whole point of playing Medic?
It takes me back to when I used to do this with my friends, with soda and video games, pizza, trash talk. Yeah, I don't really do that anymore, and I miss that. Oh, I made myself sad. TF2 used to be where I made all my friends. Heck, I made more friends through this game than I ever had in school. That also makes me sound sad. And these kinds of servers were the place to be on a Saturday night for me. But I don't do that anymore. So I guess I'm more of a tryhard now, because I feel like if I'm not at least improving my skill at this game, then playing it is a total waste of time. Maybe this fear of wasting time is part of growing up. Maybe that feeling of constantly having to be productive keeps me from guiltlessly indulging in the things that make me happy. But I still like this game, and I'm still determined to enjoy it. So I think TF2 is undervalued as a social space. I think it's incredibly easy to forget what this game is to a lot of people, friendly or tryhard. Because this game has a lot of things that go bang. And how they go bang and how much fun it is to make those things go bang with a bunch of other people who making their things go bang is exactly why people still play this game. It's revolutionary, it's unique, and there's nothing like it. However, it is more than just the things that go bang. TF2 is much, much bigger than just being a well-made game. The impact it's had on so many people over so many years, it's a milestone in video game culture. Just think about how many people are exposed to and make jokes about TF2 that have never even played it. How many people still animate and make content for it for years after they've stopped playing? People who still love the characters, the community, the content, the stories, the memes. Oh my god, the meme! What I'm trying to say is that Team Fortress 2 is a great game that deserves a thriving community of dedicated, competitive, and casual players alike. I am also trying to say that Team Fortress 2 is a great social event that anyone deserves to be a part of and get a chance to experience. And in the whole silly versus serious, casual versus competitive, friendly versus tryhard, who do you cater to debate, I say 100% that we should be working to make Team Fortress 2 a more competitively focused game. I fully believe that the future of this game is in its viability as a competitive sport. Esport, whatever. This game is too good to be treated like another Garry's Mod, and deserves to be treated like Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike Lite, almost. However, I want to make one last thing very clear. The silliness in Team Fortress 2 will never go away. To all of you who feel like TF2 is being taken over by the people on this side of the scale, they literally cannot take what you like about the game away from you, and you don't need to act like they are. And to all of you who feel like Team Fortress 2 is better off as a competitive game, understand that it's going to take some time, a long time in fact, to get this guy to do a rollout. So thank you guys so very much for watching. My name is ArraySeven. If you like what you saw and you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you liked about it with the like button and / or the comments. And if you'd like to support us further, please go to Patreon at the link below in the description, and you can subscribe to me. That is probably the best way to support me these days. And if you do, you get access to, your name in the end of the video, and you also get behind the scenes footage, and you get free strange autographed items from me. It's all kinds of fun. So please support me if you'd like. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already, and also drop in on my Twitch stream so we can have some face-to-face interactions. That'd be a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video.